Attorneys, you can change your view of the legal profession.
Welcome to this next episode of the 6-Minute Obsession. My name is Dr. Mark Kosman. I'm here with the host of your show, attorney Robert Graff. Rob, what are we talking about here? You're going to leave the career? What's going on here?
It's really your choice, and it's really about determining your career as an attorney from this point forward. Really, do you want to leave the law? Do you want to find a new job that fits your values? And it's understanding that there is no right or wrong answer, and it's about moving forward from there, and that the world is open for you.
All right, great. So we're talking about recommitment or change, but so what are we going to hit specifically in this episode here?
What we're going to hit specifically is creating, as we've talked about before, realities, and creating a reality that you can live with, and creating that reality that fits your values, and creating that reality that really makes you the person that you want to be, whether it's practicing law or whether it's not practicing law, just a career that fits your values, because you'll always be an attorney. That's your career. That's an identity that you have. It's a tool that you have on your belt wherever you go forward and whatever you decide to do.
Okay, so let's talk a little more about this. So, I mean, basically, it sounds like you're kind of giving people permission as they kind of re-examine their lives that, hey, maybe this isn't the right job for me, and the job part of what you're in right now. Is that right?
Yeah, I hate to. Well, I don't. I like to compare it to a relationship.
Yeah, well, it is, yeah.
It's your relationship with the law. And if you're in a relationship, if I was doing relationship coaching, I would say to a person, hey, you know what, we're working together. Do you want to stay in this relationship, or do you want to leave this relationship? And if you want to leave the relationship, we work to reach a happy ending or a happy way to leave that relationship. Or if you want to stay in it, we work to make it better. So staying in that relationship, it's okay. Leaving that relationship with the law, it's okay. But you can find any way you want. So what I'm really saying here is that, yes, it is okay to leave the law. It is okay to leave that relationship. Or it's okay to find a new relationship. So if you leave your first relationship, if you leave your marriage, if you leave a long-term commitment, it's okay to start again. It's okay to be in a new relationship in some other way. It's exactly the same way with your job, with your career, and with a significant other.
Right. Well, the only constant in life is change, right? So, I mean,
exactly.
You either have to recommit and figure out what you can make work better in this current relationship, job situation, or tweak it, or change it, or But I think one of the core messages you're putting out there is that, hey, it's all okay. It's a matter of figuring out what is right for you.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else might thrive in the very job that you're in, but it just may not be the best fit for you, and that's not a judgment. That's a realization that you come to at some point that, hey, you know what? I just don't fit here. This is not giving me energy back. To me, that's my rule of thumb. It's my language for it is, I like to think that life is like a big giant version of that game that you may have played as a kid where somebody hides something and all they tell you is whether you're getting warmer or colder. And I think that's kind of what a lot of things in life are about, including your job or career. Is it giving me energy, or is it depleting my energy? Is every day exhausting, or is every day kind of like, yeah, that was cool? So if you're coming to that realization, it's okay to question whether you're in the right place. And if you need help exploring that, that's kind of what coaching can do for you, is to sit back and have a safe, quiet, private exploration with somebody to say, hey, I don't know, this is not working for me the way I thought it was going to work.
And even midway beyond, in the middle of the coaching process, it could change. As you just said, the only constant is change. Things could change. You could say, hey, I can't wait to stay in my job. This is just, certain things need to change here and there, to the point, this is not for me. I'm realizing as I'm growing as a person, this is not where I want to be, and this is not who I want to be for the rest of my life or for the rest of this amount of time. Mm-hmm. So in that step of the process, well, the next step would be, do you want to stay in the practice of law, or do you want to leave the practice of law? If you want to stay in, but it's not working for you, then it's about finding a firm and finding a firm that connects with your values and something that actually resonates with you, whether it's in the same practice area, whether it's something completely new, whether they even do billable hours, or you're working for the government at some point. Mm-hmm. But it's about finding that path that feels right for you. And it's okay that if you don't know it right now. It's okay if you feel lost, because you're going to find that path as long as you know who you are.
Hmm. So sometimes it's making a commitment to continue my law career, but maybe not in the environment I'm in right now. I may literally need a job change or a firm change or something like that, but I'm not completely retooling my life. In other cases, you're coming to a realization that, the actual practice of law is not for me, and I may actually need kind of a morphing of my career. And I think part of what you're saying there too is that, at least I'm saying, one of the cool things about law is that you have skill sets that can be transferred into other things. I mean, it's not like you wasted your time going to law school. Even if you decide you're not going to practice law, you can apply a lot of those skills to so many different environments. So you still made a good choice, even if you decide to retool and go in a different direction. But I think your biggest point is that there's no right or wrong answers here. There's just trying to find the right answers for you.
And it's really living by the principle that there are no mistakes. What if you couldn't make mistakes? Then the reason for going to law school wasn't to be a lawyer, but it was to use those tools that you have to create a different path for yourself. Mm-hmm. So if you live by that principle, that there are no mistakes, that everything was an opportunity, everything was a learning experience, that's moving forward, and it gets rid of that anger, and it gets rid of that hostility that you may have to the profession, and that disappointment that you're failing at the career, at your chosen career, that you're failing at something that you spent 19 years of schooling, including elementary school, college,
right? Yeah, absolutely. It all counts. It all led up to this moment. So
it all led up to that moment, and you feel, and that's where a lot of people have that hesitation. You spent all this time in school. I use the example that the only 2 times I've cried are when the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl in 2004, and when I passed the bar exam. Because my whole life was spent passing this bar exam, essentially, for one test. So leaving and saying that I can't do this anymore, and realizing that it's almost like a traumatic experience. What am I going to do? But it's okay.
Well, it's an identity crisis, right? Literally. I mean, it's like, if this was my path, oh, wait a minute, who am I if I'm not doing what I thought I was going to do?
And this, as we've talked about in the past episodes, reconnecting with yourself, it's figuring out who you were and who you are as a person moving forward from there, so that you have that law as a tool belt on your tool belt, and that you are always going to be an attorney. It's always going to be part of your identity, but it doesn't have to identify who you are. It doesn't have to define who you are just because it is part of your identity.
Well, and I love your philosophy, Rob. I mean, I love the there are no mistakes philosophy. There are experiences, there's feedback from those experiences, and then there's the next set of choices you're going to make as best you can based on that experience and that feedback. And that's life. I mean, you're learning constantly, and sometimes that learning is, okay, this isn't working for me, but you didn't know that ahead of time. I mean, if you had, you wouldn't have gone down that road, right? None of us is really stupid. We just have limited information, and we haven't had the experience and the feedback until we get there. And then you say, nope, all right, got to retool, got to retweak, got to move in this direction now in order to improve the quality of my life. So that's all good stuff.
And part of what I say that I do as a coach is I help people build on success. And it's really building on the success that you already have. You graduated law school, you passed the bar exam, you've worked for a couple of years as an attorney, or even more than a couple of years as an attorney. You've had success. You're, as you said, a smart person. You've gotten to all these points. So it's building on that success and moving forward and translating that success into whatever you want to translate it into.
Well, and this is what coaching is all about, and you're an example of it in the sense that not only are you doing it, but you're also an example of someone who has kind of retweaked, retooled, made some decisions about the practice of law, not given it up, but morphed it into a world that works better for you, and built upon it by developing the coaching skills that you bring to the work that you're doing with your attorney clients now. So it's very cool to watch you doing it as well as preaching it.
And I actually became a better attorney, I think, because of it.
I'm not surprised, because you freed up energy, right? I mean, you started bringing your passion back into the law.
Right. Right.
I listen
to my clients better, everything. So really building on the success that I had. I always thought I could listen well. I can listen better now. It's really made both practices, my legal practice and my coaching practice, better because of the experiences that I've had in every situation.
So if we're talking to an attorney right now who's never had any kind of coaching experience, has no idea what that would be like, I think it's kind of cool that you've opened a door to make that incredibly easy to figure out, because you're offering a free consultation, right, Rob?
Correct. Free 30-minute consultation, no obligation, just learning a little bit about coaching.
Okay, so if you're interested in this conversation we're having and the transformation that Rob has made in his own life and what that could do for you, well, then give Rob a call. You know, if you're here on GraffStandard.com watching this episode, or if you're not, come on over to GraffStandard.com. Now, Rob, you often use a tool as well in your coaching work, and I want to tell people a little bit about that. It's called the Energy Leadership Index. What is that?
It's an assessment that determines your current level of success, your current level of consciousness, and your current level of being, and it's a snapshot into who you are at this time. And as you review it, it becomes better, or it becomes a blueprint to move you to more success and to move you to a different snapshot where you have more success and you have higher levels of energy because you shifted towards those higher levels of energy.
Excellent. Okay, so if in addition to a free consultation, if people are interested in learning more about that, all you got to do is get on Rob's email mailing list. Right below here at GraffStandard.com is a place for you to put your name and email address in. You'll not only get information about these episodes of 6 Minute Obsession, you'll get Rob's contact information, but you'll also get access to some information about the Energy Leadership Index, which other people charge over $400 to do. Rob does not do that. He is a very generous guy. So find out what the special offer is that he has for you just by signing up right below here at GraffStandard.com. Get on the mailing list. You'll get all the details. So until next time, Rob, we'll see people for another episode of the 6 Minute Obsession and give them another little bit of pain relief for the legal profession.
Yep. Have a great one.